Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends of the University, WIL University of Technology, friends and members of COMETSA, the public at large. I haven't got the best of all of the voices today, but I hope my colleague Boniwe will be joining soon so that I can be relieved because I have a strained voice, as you can hear. This is COMETSA Radio Worldwide, the mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. This is our monthly show in partnership with the WIL University of Technology. The show is called VUT, Student Academic Development Support and Work-Integrated Learning, and is brought to you here live at COMETSA Radio Worldwide. It is the last show of the year, but definitely we will be coming back in the coming year. It is the 6th edition. So that suggests we have been talking around issues of student academic development support and work-integrated learning. And today we're going to focus mainly on the work-integrated learning with two colleagues from the faculties that are also doubling as the WIL coordinators. Let me acknowledge the team behind this project, the team at WIL University of Technology, the team led by Dr. Eni Mulezane and assisted by Edwin Mabelane and Simon Mhlala. And of course, my colleague at COMETSA, Michael, in the background, always checking quality at a distance, and the many members and friends of COMETSA that are anchoring these shows that are dedicated to human capital development, management, and leadership. One of those is joining me today is Boniwe, Sister Boniwe Dunster, who has been with us for a while up to so far. She's not a stranger to this platform. She is a coach and director of her own human capital organization called Blue Eagle Human Capital Practice, and a staunch member of COMETSA and a member of the Institute of People Management in South Africa. Boniwe, welcome. We are indeed pleased that you can anchor the show today. Greetings to you.
Greetings to yourself, Sam, to our listeners, and also welcoming our two guests in studio.
Indeed. I have announced that I don't have the best voice today, but I'm trying my best, and you'll soon be taking over. Let me remind the listeners that we started this journey. The first edition was on the 28th of June, 2023, and that was the launch show with the leadership at the center, and that was anchored by our sister Dolores Mashishi and moderated by myself. The second edition was on the 26th of July, 2023, and the topic was delivering impactful first-year support and experience at the WIL University of Technology, and our guest was Dr. Jeremiah Mutimure, and the show was anchored by Sylvia Mamorari. The third edition took place on the 30th of August, 2023, and it was about learning communities with Mr. Mutusi Samu, Learning Development Coordinator at the university, and I anchored the show. The fourth edition was on the 27th of September, 2023. We were in conversation with Dr. Moses Peleyeju, MSET, Mathematics, Science, Engineering, and Technology Center at the WIL University of Technology. And on the 25th of October, 2023, we had Miss Innocentia Shuwe, Coordinator, Writing Lab, and she was talking about the writing skills support for students at the WIL University of Technology. You can tell that we really have been hard at work, and I'm very excited that we have passed this first hurdle of really anchoring the show, making it a familiar feature And we are holding this last one, but it's not the last you hear from us. We will be back in February with the 2024 editions of this show. Let me ask our anchor, Boniwe Dunster, to greet the listeners, formally introduce herself. She is the alumni of the WIL University of Technology herself. She'll tell you more about that. And then, of course, welcome our first guest who is already here, Ben Moekwa. And I do hope that Thabo will also join us, Thabo Maloka, as time goes. And I can see she is locking in. Just one moment. Let me accept him and welcome him. Welcome, Thabo. We just started. I'm handing over to Boniwe to open the show, greet the listeners, and have a conversation with you. Over to you, Boniwe.
Thank you very much, Sam, for actually setting the scene for us this evening. So my name is Boniwe Dunster. I am the anchor on COMETSA Radio Worldwide. And as Sam has alluded, I am an alumni of the WIL University of Technology and a proud product of the institution. And I am with you today as we engage our two professionals from the WIL University of Technology. It is very important, for us to always remember where we come from and to contribute. And for us, this show between COMETSA Radio Worldwide and WIL University of Technology, it's very important to us to advance the development of students and the importance, of work-integrated learning, which is going to be our core focus for this evening through collaboration between the two institutions. So I invite you, our listeners, to make sure that you engage on this topic. You send us your messages on WhatsApp. We will try by all means to respond to all the comments and the questions that we have, and hoping that you will find this conversation very meaningful. So without wasting time, as Sam has indicated, we really have two special guests from the WIL University of Technology, which is Mr. Ben Moekwa, who is a lecturer for biotechnology and chemistry and also a work-integrated learning coordinator. We are also joined by our gentleman, Thabo Maloka, who is also a lecturer for electrical process engineering and also a WIL coordinator as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Okay. Thank you, Sis Boniwe, and good evening to you, and good evening to Prasem, and good evening to your listeners.
Thank you so much. Let's also allow our other guests to also probably say a bit of greetings to our listeners. Thabo?
I'm not sure if Thabo can hear us, but he's here. According to my dashboard. Maybe
Sure.
is somehow not coming through. Perhaps you can.
Not a problem.
With Ben.
Sure, not a problem at all. He did actually indicate, I believe he was one of the people that indicated that they are having power challenges in the area that they are in. So we will actually excuse him and just allow him to jump into the conversation as soon as his power challenges have been sorted out. So starting with you, Ben, if you can just pretty much, introduce yourself, to our guests so that we can get to know you and who you are. And this really includes knowing you at a personal level and also, at a professional level. So.
Thank you, Boniwe. As you have said in your introduction, my name is Ben Moekwa. I'm a lecturer and a WIL coordinator in the Department of Biotechnology and Chemistry. Apart from imparting knowledge to students, I am responsible for monitoring and evaluation of students undertaking work-based learning or work-integrated learning in different industries in our country. I hold the master's degree in chemistry, and I've from UNISA, and I've also completed a postgraduate diploma in higher education with VUT in 2014. So I've been involved with this WIL coordination in the department for more than 10 years. I took over from Mr. Tina Slots when he was going on retirement.
Okay, thank you so much. Because one of the questions that I was also going to ask is, when did your relationship with the WIL University of Technology start? And you indicated that it started in 2014. Other than having studied at UNISA and also a postgrad at WIL University of Technology, were there any other institutions that you had also studied with?
No, not any other higher education, higher institution, what's called higher institution of learning. I've only studied at UNISA and VUT.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you so much. So please just tell us and our listeners what really attracted you to WIL University of Technology.
A little bit of background. When I completed my junior degree with UNISA, and then I had a short stint with NEXA in 2000 in July, just for 6 months, and I then went back to UNISA where I was an academic research assistant from 2001 to 2005. During that period, that's when I pursued, studied further. And then in 2006, I was then appointed as the lecturer. In 2007, in September, I joined WIL University of Technology as the senior research technician. At the time I joined WIL University, that's when the Department of Chemistry was starting to be involved in research. So my main responsibility at that time in 2007 was to set up the research laboratory and to assist the department in acquiring the analytical instruments that would be suitable for research, because the instrument that they were using for teaching. That's how I came into WIL. I started the research lab. I was given the C block, where I came up with the plan, the drawings of how the research lab should look like, what kind of the instruments we need to acquire, given the expertise of the members of the department then. And when I left that post as the senior research technician, I had left it with the department having everything. The instrumentation was there, the research laboratory was there, and everybody was involved in research. And during that period, that's also when I was requested by the department to also assist Mr. Tina Slots with WIL coordination. And then I was then moved from the position of the research technician into a lecturer in 2014.
Okay, sounds like you've actually had a very successful journey at the WIL University of Technology. We will get deeper into you having to set up the research laboratory, but for now, I acknowledge that Mr. Thabo Maloka has joined us now in studio. Sir, good evening, welcome, and do let us know if you can hear us loud and clear. Thabo, are you able to hear us? It sounds like Mr. Maloka is still experiencing some technicalities on his side. However, we still continue with the conversation and he will join us. Back to you, Ben, right? You indicated that at some point you were, requested or part of the team that was meant to set up a research laboratory at the university. When that request came through, what went through your mind at first?
At first, I thought that it's the mammoth task. I thought that I won't be able to do it, but with the support of the HOD, then Professor Joe Mudise and Professor Bobby Naidu, I took the challenge. Remember, when you are starting something afresh from the scratch, it's a little bit difficult. You need to get a buy-in from the staff members. And I was new in the Vaal region, given that I was not born in the Vaal. I was born in the Rustenburg, that other side of Moloto, and spent some time in Pretoria. So I got a buy-in from the department. And I remember the first instrument that I was tasked to come up with the specs because they had to go to tender. It was the ion chromatography. That was the test. And once we got through and managed to buy the instrument, which had both channels, both for the N-ion and cation analysis, then that gave me confidence that no, everything is possible, we can do it. And then I think that was the beginning of the good things that followed in the department.
That's great. And looking back, what would you say to yourself back then, looking at the progress that you've achieved so far?
Looking at the staff, I look at the staff members that we have now, and I said, and I usually brag and say people that there's lots of staff members that you see. When I joined the VUT, they were doing BTech, others they were still at the diploma level. I took them through when they were doing their MTechs, their DTech at the time, because as the senior research technician, I was also responsible. I was responsible for training the students and the staff members on how to use the technique, the instrument. They might have the knowledge, or they might have know the same instrument, but it uses different software. So I had to take them through the softwares, how the instrument works, how to troubleshoot the instrument if the instrument has the problems, and then how to be independent. So given that most of them now, they have masters, they have doctorates, I think that's, to me, it is of a great achievement on my side.
Great stuff, and congratulations to you. We will still continue this conversation. I do acknowledge that Thabo Maloka is now back in studio. Sir, can you please advise if you can hear us? Thabo, are you able to hear us on this side of the world?
Yeah, looks like it comes through, but doesn't seem to be able to hear us. His connectivity is definitely failing him.
Okay, not a problem. You are still listening to COMETSA Radio Worldwide, and we are joined here in studio by Ben Moekwa and our other colleague Thabo Maloka, who is still trying to sort out our technical challenges. So, Ben, while we are still engaging with you and actually really, listening to your journey, how far you have come to this point where you are, I want to also go to what really attracted you to the qualification that you obtained after grade 12? What was going on in your head, and what made you decide to choose this particular qualification?
Okay. When I was at matric, I grew up in the rural area called Marotogolum village in the Tepla Drift, next to the Nelton. We had good teachers there. We had some discussions, but because I had love for sciences, in our discussion with one of my teacher, if I remember very well, Mr. Mazibuko, Samuel Veli Mazibuko, and I told him that, look, I'm interested in working in the laboratory. I'm interested in working with chemicals. At the time, my understanding was that you can do anything with chemicals. And then he suggested some courses that people who work in the laboratory, they could be working in your pathology labs, they could be working in chemical laboratories, in physics lab, and all other things. And I then said, no, it's fine. And that's when then I decided to enroll for a BSc in chemistry and microbiology. So I majored in chemistry and microbiology. The difficulty was when I went to choose which I had to, which between the two I would have to do the honors of. And then because I had a short stint at NEXA before I could do my honors, that's when then I got introduced deeper into chemistry. Remember, the NEXA was the then dealing with your uranium chemistry and all those things. So that on its own, I think, deepened my love for chemistry. So that's when then I went further and did honors in chemistry. And during that time, I worked with Professor Summers and Professor Mpahlele. Professor Summers was a polymer chemist and Professor Mpahlele was an organic chemist. So that on its own gave me love of synthesis. Yeah, and that's why then I had even to continue further to do masters in organic chemistry.
All right, that's great to hear. I see Thabo has joined us again, but just before I go to him and welcome again into studio, if someone who was now either doing grade 10 or probably they were doing grade 12 at school, and they were actually to ask you how to such opportunities or how to actually get into the program, what requirements would you say they need, and what advice would you give to them?
To study sciences, especially your chemistry, your physics, your biotechnology, you need to be good in maths. You need to get good grades in maths, physics, and English. At the moment, because I'm working at VUT, and at VUT we need 4 in mathematics, 4 in physical science, and 4 in English, either as your home language or as your second language. So those are the requirements, and you need to also have lab of the chemistry because it involves laboratory, and as you might know, some of the chemicals they have smells that some people they might not handle it. So you should be able to take the smells of other chemicals that might be there, especially your furans and your iodines and all those things. So some of these chemicals, they have smells, and some of them, they are corrosive, they are flammable. A little mistake, you can cause harm to the building and even to those that are working around you. So you need to be very careful and be sure of what you're doing. But the requirements are very simple. Your mathematics, your physical science, and your English, and you need to have a minimum of 24 points that is required, bringing in other subjects there.
Okay, great. Ben, you are going to expose your age and my age in terms of how old we are. Physics, what is physics called now in the current world with the current education system? In case we have parents here that have young kids and they can't relate to what physics is, what is the new terminology? Is it ENS or something? Help us there so that we unconfuse the parents on the line.
Physical science, okay. Yeah, no. It is still called, fortunately enough, mathematics is still called mathematics, and
Of
physical
course.
science and physical science is still called physical science. The only difference is that now you have your pure maths and your maths literacy. So we only require maths, not maths lit, or as they call it, maths lit,
Okay.
maths literacy. Yeah.
Before the end of the show, you and I are gonna recall what physics is. I tend to believe it has a new name. That's how old I am. But we will figure out. So as we continue now, we stick to physical science, and our listeners and our young parents right there, it's physical science. I see we have lost our colleague Tabo again.
Yeah, no,
But that's okay.
I think, Boniwe, physical science is still called physical science. The only one that has changed is biology. Remember, we used to have biology. Now it's called life science.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is natural science?
Natural sciences is that's your
Maybe it's
physical,
geography.
your physics and chemistry.
Maybe it's geography. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You and I just exposed ourselves, or I exposed the both of us.
Yeah.
in terms of how old we are. But anywho, we know that we are both young at heart. Right. Now that you have actually painted a beautiful picture around your journey, around your background and your qualifications, and where you have been. And indeed, it is a very, inspiring and encouraging journey. And if somebody's listening to you and very determined to actually go through that route, I'm sure they would be as inspired as I am, right? But if you can also, now that we've spoken about your research background and your qualifications, I want us to go now to your day-to-day work. So when you wake up every day, now in 2023, you're going to work. You're saying, I'm going to VUT University of Technology. I'm a lecturer for, biotechnology and chemistry, and I'm also a WIL-Integrated Co-Ordinator. What does that mean? And if you can just paint a picture in a day of Thabo in these two portfolios. Sorry, Ben, in these two portfolios.
As the lecturer, my responsibility is to impart knowledge to the student in this department, and I'm more on the chemistry division, and I'm also the coordinating the chemistry division. We also have Ms. Maringani, who coordinate biotechnology division. Apart from imparting the knowledge to the students, remember, WIL, it is a bridge between the academic institution and the working environment. My responsibility there, it is mostly monitoring and evaluation of the students that are undertaking work-based learning in different industries. I must make sure that I visit the companies, interact with their mentors and supervisors, and assist them whenever they have the problem.
Yes.
Because we have the logbook or the guide that we give to students when they go out into industry, and also mark the reports of the students from the industry. So I'm also marking the reports as much as the mentors and supervisors mark these reports before they submit them, and they sanction that no, they've seen the reports, they are happy with the reports before the students can submit. I would also have to go through them and see if whether they did justice to the students. Remember, I have seen the students, I've interacted with the students when they are busy doing their work, integrated learning in industries. I've interviewed them, I've interviewed the mentors, I've interviewed the supervisors, and they gave me the positive feedback. Whenever there are also problems in the industries with our students, or when our students are misbehaving, I am the first person that your mentors or supervisors or companies would call me to say that we have your student and your students, this is what your students is doing. So I need to also come in and try and solve the problem. And I do that with the help of cooperative education, under the leadership of Dr. Mletsani, with our coordinators there, Edwin and Simon. So that's exactly what I do almost every day.
And what is the fun part of your job? What do you find most exciting?
What I find most exciting is when I visit these industries and they give a positive feedback about our students. Remember, the students that we sent there, they've gone through, they've done the theory. We have given them the theory, and now they need to go and put the theory into practice. They are understanding, and they need to. So once the company, they are happy with the product that we have given to them, that it is, they understand the basics of the chemistry that we have given to them. That's what gives me happiness, and that gives me, even when I'm asleep, probably I dream, because that's exactly what we want. The other thing is when the industries they raise some of the concerns, I am the link between the industry and the department. Some of the concerns that they will be raising, I need to relate to the colleagues in the department. And during because I also organize the industry advisory meeting. So during this meeting, they will probably be raising some of the concerns where they think that our students are lacking. And then once they said that, no, at least we have managed to sort out that which we have seen in the previous students, now in the current student, that's not there. So that also gives me a comfort that at least you are doing something good.
Indeed, it is meaningful work. To our listeners who just joined us now, you are on COMETSA Radio Worldwide. We are joined in our studio by Mr. Ben Moekwa, who is a lecturer and a work and a WIL coordinator at the WIL University of Technology. Please feel free to send through your WhatsApp messages, your comments, and we will definitely make it a point that we respond to all of those. So, Ben, still on that theme of, work integrated learning that we commonly abbreviate as WIL. Can you just paint, the importance of the work integrated learning to our listeners, and to parents that are also joining online who have students that are still going to the universities, and to students that actually are about to complete their studies, and they are thinking, what is this logbook all about? Why do I need a logbook? Why am I not graduating immediately after completing the theoretical part of my academics, right? Can you just paint a picture of the importance of the work integrated learning and how it bridges the gap in terms of theory and practicals, which I believe on my side is very important, in one getting employed, into the market? If you can just unpack that for us, sir.
The work integrated learning, unfortunately or fortunately, as part of the curriculum, the students need to go out and do work integrated learning in the industry. So that's part of the curriculum. It's embedded in the curriculum, and that it's 1 year. Okay. Now, what does that does? It introduces the student to the world of work. The advantage of doing WIL is that at least at the end of your qualification, when you graduate, the student will have a minimum of a 6 months or a year work experience, unlike the one who did not undertake work integrated learning or work-based learning. So at the end of the qualification, the student already has the experience that is required by many companies to say most of the position that you see there being advertised, they will be looking for experience and all those. So this also gives them the exposure of what the world of work is all about, the work ethics, the time management, because at least now when they are doing work integrated learning, what is happening is they are being treated as the employees. They are also subjected to the rules, process and procedures of the company. So they are part of the employees of the company. So it is they understand what is it that is expected out of them as the employees. So at the end of their will, it is they have learned and they know what is it that it is expected from them.
Great. So, what happens if maybe a student gets an opportunity, but they somehow, it's your first time at work, you're still trying to balance, time management, being an employee versus being a student. Do you typically get issues whereby students maybe have not completed their logbooks, have lost their logbooks? How do we bridge that gap, or how would you address such issues if it actually has happened before?
Yes, what is happening is when the student gets, or when they are placed by cooperative education, what then we do is we give them the logbook. And we have a year of training. So we have split it into two. We have the P1 and P2. So P1 simply means your first 6 months in the company, and P2, your second 6 months in the company. So in your first 6 months, we know that you are still learning the company. They're still taking you through the company. What is the company is doing? What is it that they are doing? So you will be doing the general work. So what then we do is we give them the logbook. The logbook, it's a guide of what is it that they need to be looking at when they will be writing the report. Remember, we are dealing with different industries, and as you might know, that industry are product orientated. So these different industries, they have their goal. So you might find that a particular group of students, they are in the coal, or others, they are in the mining, others, they are in water and sewage and all those things. So the logbook usually is just a general guide to say that as a student, when writing the report, please just give us an overview of the company, report on it that you are doing and all those things. So if you have lost your logbook, you can simply just go into a cooperative education website. We have loaded our logbooks there. For both P1 and P2, so they can simply download the logbook and then refer. And whenever they have a problem, we are a call away or to assist and also guide. The mentors are there who understand the process, because we speak with them even when we invite them during the industry meeting. So they are also there, so they guide. So there is no way in which a student can be struggling and say that, no, I don't have the logbook. So once you don't have the logbook, and even now industries, we have shown to them to say that, please, when you get the students, request for a logbook, so that at least you know what is it that the student's going to report about.
Great. And when you're referring to mentors, just to clarify for our listeners who also joined us, that today we are really talking about the importance of work-integrated learning, and we're joined in studio by Ben Moekwa from the VUT University of Technology. So still on that point, and for the clarity of our listeners, when you're referring to mentors, would this particularly refer to the mentors who are based in the organizations where the students are appointed in, whether that would also serve as a mentor and a direct line manager or first line manager? Is it people that are already employees of that organization where students are based?
Yes, when we're talking of the mentors, those are the people that will be working with the student in an industry almost every.
Yeah, we've lost Ben. Thabo is back. I hope Thabo can hear us.
Sure. Thabo, welcome back, sir. Can you hear us? Are you able to join us right now? Thabo, can you please confirm if you can hear us? We can see that you have indeed joined our virtual studios. We just need to confirm that you are able to hear us, and also check if your laptop or your PC is also not on mute, and then your speakers are activated as well.
He has been trying, and it seems to be not working. But what a great conversation, Boniwe, with Ben. It's such, I can sense the energy in his answers, that this is what he lives daily.
Definitely. I think, when you're having an engagement or an interview of this nature,
Hello?
Sam,
Yeah,
also our listeners.
hold it there, Ben.
Ben, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, okay. I think we are still battling with Thabo. Thabo, can you hear us? I think we are still battling with Thabo. Ben, can you just pick up from where you left off just before you got cut off, sir? You were actually explaining the issue around mentors. Who are the mentors? Whether it's people that are already in the organization serving as first line managers to the students. Can you just paint a picture of what you mean by a mentor and what is their role?
Yes, the mentors are the ones who will be interacting with the students every day, who will be working with the student every day in the company. So these are the ones that will be showing the student the procedures that are followed in the company, the types of the analysis that they are doing. So these are the people that are taken through the student through the training. These are the ones that would be assisting students whenever there are problems or whenever student needs some assistance or a particular chemical or whatever. So those are the ones that will be saying where to find this chemical and where to find this type of the instrument if you want to do this analysis. So these are the ones that will be working with the students every day. They might not necessarily be having that qualification, but the supervisor is the one that will be having the qualification that at least a diploma level, because they will be dealing with somebody who wants to get the diploma. So those are the people, those are the mentors. And then the supervisor is the one that probably can be the one that supervises both the mentor and the student, the one who would be getting the feedback from the mentor, how the student is doing, the one who will be signing off the logbook of the student at the end of the training of the student.
Okay, great stuff. And I think it was important for us to actually paint the picture, of what is meant by a mentor. And I'm glad you also incorporated, an element of a supervisor, because sometimes you do have two separate people playing separate roles, and sometimes you can actually find one person playing both roles. So I'm very glad that you actually brought that element of a supervisor. I want to take you back one step earlier, as you were talking about the importance of work integrated learning, the logbooks, and being part of an organization as as your introduction to the world of work. You mentioned that the work integrated learning has or the logbooks themselves, they also have two parts. You have P1 and you also have P2. I need you to explain to us what is the difference between P1 and P2, and is this only applicable to the faculty of engineering, or would other faculties also have P1s and P2s, or would they just have one logbook? Let's say somebody is in is in humanities, for example, or in management science faculty. Will they also have P1 and P2s, or is it only applicable to the engineering faculty?
Okay. Yes, the P1 and P2 applies in both the Faculty of Applied and Computer Sciences and the Faculty of Engineering. Okay. The P1, usually it's the first 6 months in the company. In that first 6 months, the students will be doing will be involved in the general work of the company. So the company will then be saying, for instance, that you will be based in your sample preparation. From the sample preparation will then take you into the instrumental analysis. From there, we'll be taking you to the wet chemistry. You'll be doing the titration, the physical chemistry, organic chemistry, all these different sections. So in that case, so that's the P1. So at P1, so they are doing everything. So it is then when they're coming for P2. So usually in P2, student focuses on a project. So P1 is the general work, and P2, they focus on a project. But that does not take away the fact that as much as you'll be doing a project as a student, you should also be performing all other duties and responsibilities that have been assigned to you by your mentor or the supervisor. So you do the project together with all other duties. So P2 is for the project, and P1 is the general reporting of what is it that you have gone through during your training.
Very interesting, Tao. Mr. Ben. I was always under the impression that when you reduced the duration of the placement at the world of work, you did away with the P1 and P2.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you didn't do away with it, but you just integrated it in the entire period. Am I right?
Yes, in our Faculty of Applied and Computer Science, we did not reduce the duration of the training, but in your engineering faculty, those are the ones that have reduced the duration of the training to 6 months. But that does not stop the companies to say that us as the company would want the student to be with us for a year. Because lots of companies believe that in a 6 month student might have not learned a lot. So because in the first 6 months, usually they will be struggling, they will still be trying to find themselves in this work, this world of work. Remember, these are very young kids, so others take time to adapt. So in our faculty, we did not reduce, we kept it as a year. Unfortunately, in the Faculty of Engineering, those are the ones that have reduced it, but they are looking at it, they are discussing it with EXA and the industries.
I'm very curious about the project. It's actually quite very interesting.
Yeah.
Does the company get involved in the choosing of project, or is that a totally freedom of the students to decide on the project in consultation with the faculty? How does that go about?
Okay. When what we say to the companies or in the students, saying it is the supervisor and the mentor and the students who decides on the project, because remember, they will be doing the project in that company. So when deciding on the project, they should also be looking at their expertise and the instruments that they have. So we can't say to them that do this type of the project, because companies, they differ. So they are the ones that decides on the project based on their expertise and the qualifications that they have. And given that, because it's also a diploma, so it is not that much of an intense project. I usually say to companies that this is the introduction to the project. As you choose the project and do the project with the student, take into account that these are students who they are only at their diploma level. So if you can give them something that they can handle, and you also as the supervisor or as a mentor, you will be able to guide the student when they will be undertaking that project.
Wow. And this is at the end of their studies.
This is at the end of their studies, because they will have done with the theory. So this is their last year of their qualification. So that's why we're saying that they should be involved. They should do the project their last 6 months in the company, because now at least they would be knowing on how to run the instruments, how to prepare for the samples for analysis. So and they will be familiar with the problems that probably the company might be facing, because some of the company might be having some challenges on a particular type of analysis. So they can then use the students together with the supervisor to then try and solve that.
Interesting. Boniwe?
Thank you so much, Sam, and apologies to the listeners for the technical glitch that we are experiencing on the side. So, Ben, I know that Sam also picked up a conversation with you while I was still, out there. Just maybe to, wrap up our first segment on a very lighter note, just explain to us, where do you take all this energy and passion from that you have actually shared with us in the last 50 minutes?
Look, I've been in a class with the student. I've been teaching the student. I have seen the seriousness in the students, and we've been giving them support on campus. Now, it is important that we continue with the support even when they are not on campus, because they are still students. That is why one would even drive as far as Malelani to go and visit the students and to show. In most cases, when I visit them, I'm saying, I am not here to police you, but I'm here to support, to give you a support so that you can jump this hurdle. You are almost there. You are almost there. You are just left with few months to get your qualification. So I'm here to support you, to make sure that at least you are crossing this bridge. I'm crossing this bridge with you. That is why I think that's where my passion is. My passion is, especially when I see them graduate. That's when I get more excited and more happy, especially when you see the parents ululating during the graduation to say that at least the work that we are doing, it's very much important. Remember, WIL, it is the last leg of their qualification. So I need to be there. I need to have passion so that at least, because they've been with us for 2 years, it is their last year. Let them not deter, let them soldier on.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And I've really enjoyed this conversation to this point. I've enjoyed your energy, your level of interest, in the students, in the university itself, in the work integrated learning. And I think we see the differences in our communities, of the work that you guys do. Like you said, when you see people walking up the stage, graduating and obtaining their qualifications, you know that you have actually played your role, in bringing dignity in someone else's life, and most importantly, trying to eradicate some of our social ills that we face in our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, and our listeners, online, we are going to be taking a short break, and then we will then revert back after a 10-minute short break, and then we continue the conversation with Ben Moekwa. And I'm hoping that when we return, Mr. Thabo Maloka will be able to join us. So for now, sit back, sit tight, listen to the beautiful music that we will be playing you, and continue to send in your comments and your questions on our WhatsApp line. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Ben, thank you, and we will be back shortly after the break. Sam?
Yeah, indeed. Wow, what a great insight that we are receiving from that conversation with Ben. And I indeed hope that Thabo will be able to join, because I think in the second part, Boniwe, it will be great that we drill down into the finer details of the entire value chain, or what I will call the logical steps that the student takes in becoming part of the work integrated learning, so that the students out there, or the future students, can already have a bigger picture of what is likely to happen when they finish their theory part and they are joining the industry. I think we are building the bridge between the academic and then the world of work. And we've just started, Boniwe, I think so. Okay. So, yeah,
Indeed, this is just the beginning. This is
yeah,
just the beginning.
absolutely. Please, listeners, don't go away. The best is still to come. And we are a team here, irrespective of all the technical challenges. We are supporting each other, and it's working so well, and we are having fun. So, yeah, 5 minutes break, and we will be back with part 2 of the show, and hopefully with Thabo joining us. Just hang on there. Don't go away.